Why take my business from 0 to 1 when I can take the current business that I have right now from like a 2 to 4? I'm really avoiding the hard thing that I need to do right now. Week 3 of documenting the building of my life. So for those of you who don't know, my name's Nikko. I run a video production company that creates social media adverts, and we specialize in helping fashion and lifestyle brands create an emotional connection with their audience. What does that mean, really? That means we make branded content that is sexy. In brief, I wanted to go over this in this video, this podcast thing. Shiny object syndrome. Here's a little bit of story time. Around 2 years ago, I was sat in my bed, about to make a purchase of around, I think it was around 6K, maybe less. Yeah, around 6K or 5K. 5,000 euros. I was gonna buy a UX UI design course. So I'm sat there about 4 years sort of into trying to make videos and trying to make sort of money with videos, completely at my lowest point because I'd moved to Berlin during COVID. I didn't know anyone. I couldn't network or meet or speak to anyone. And so I was essentially not getting any work through my video. I was working at a cafe at the time just to keep some cash coming in. And I was really contemplating taking this course, which would essentially guarantee me at the end of this course, or the end of this 12 sort of month course, it would guarantee me a job. And I was entering my card details to do this thing. I was having so many calls with my dad and just being like, yo, I've been doing this video thing for so long, yet it's not working out. Should I just completely quit it? And I had my card details in, and for some reason I just decided I'm not gonna pay for this thing. It was in about a week after that I got a request in for a music video with a somewhat established band and musician at the time in Berlin, or in Germany, sorry, called Province. I got this request and I was like, okay, I just gotta do this. This is a sign. But before that, I think actually before that, so sorry to confuse the order, but before that, I also got a request in from out of nowhere from a agency called Media Monks, which asked me to shoot something for social content, so social media stuff, vertical. They wanted a videographer for a BMW commercial that was happening down in Spain. And you're probably wondering, just like I was too, how the hell can I be working at a cafe and then get a BMW request in for my videos? Because at the time I was like, what the fuck? This is just like the complete opposite of my life situation right now. And of course I was like stoked. I was so over the moon to be like, whoa, I'm being considered even to like shoot this thing and being reached out to. And they contacted me through my website. I can't even remember. I asked them, how did they find me? I don't think they ever replied to me on that. In brief, long story short, I didn't get that job. But I continued to do the Province shoot and music video. And as soon as I got those 2 requests, I quit my cafe job and I said, I'm going all in on this video thing. And I reflect on this now thinking like, had I made that purchase for this UX UI course, how different my sort of life might have been. But maybe it would have been the same. I don't know. Maybe I would have just continued, been miserable doing the UX UI stuff and then just continued making videos. But the reason why I'm sharing this, going back to the initial point, which is shiny object syndrome, is because as creative people, as a creative person, I was just always doing so many other things. Had I given up then, I wouldn't be in the fortunate situation that I am right now, which is that I'm making a living from making videos and more. More than just a living. I'm really, I would say, enjoying very much a abundant life with making videos. I just share that story because maybe to my past self, and this is why I make these videos, these podcasts sort of things, is like if you are thinking and you've put in a lot of work and you're thinking about just jumping ship, sometimes we're just like you're just 1 foot away from hitting that thing that's gonna launch your career or just push you at least into a more sustainable situation. I know how hard it can be to just be like wanting shit to come through or just praying that it works out. And so, yeah, here are some of the lessons that I'm sharing from my sort of 5-6 year journey of shiny object syndrome. And for those of you who don't know what shiny object syndrome is, it's essentially when you are constantly moving from one thing to the next, not really sticking through with anything and just changing, the way that the thing that you're doing, because you're not seeing any success in it. So you're essentially jumping to the next thing. I get this all the time. Like, it doesn't get easier, guys. Like, the more time I put in to my business, the more opportunities I get presented with, and the more I want to just try different shit, especially with like my ADHD tendencies of just wanting to go down a rabbit hole and just try something new because it's novel, because it's like fresh. And so I'm sharing this with you because I can honestly say from my experience, the best thing that I ever did was to not give up on making videos. And whatever it is, even if you're not making videos, even if you're like doing, I don't know, drop shipping, you're doing some sort of online business, you're doing SMMA, you're doing some other thing, this is just me sharing my thoughts. Point number 1, the more time I spend in the game, the more value I can add, therefore the more money I can charge. So right now, I've learnt a skill or a set of skills that have essentially allowed me to charge money for making videos for people. And the more time I spend making videos, the more I realize I can become more nuanced with the way that I understand the problem of a business, particularly in the fashion and lifestyle niche, which is what I'm focused on. And the more time I spend focused and working and doing these projects, the more I realize, this client and this client also have a similar problem. That's interesting. Perhaps I can, with my skills, figure out a solution to solve those problems, therefore providing more value to the client. Therefore, I can ask for more money because I'm solving more problems or fixing a bigger problem. And so that is one thing that you do not get, of course, when you're jumping from one thing to the next and not really getting deep into an industry or into a niche. Point number 2, staying in the game also allows you to identify where the cash is at. So like before I had like a massive idea in my head that real estate had like good money in it. And then I tried some real estate videos, and not for long enough, obviously, because I jumped ship, because I was shiny object syndrome. But I stayed doing videos, and I realized, okay, actually videos in real estate actually isn't so lucrative unless you're doing it with really high-end luxury sort of buildings and listings. Maybe I just wasn't good enough. I hope there's people out there who can disprove me. And I realized that there's, other industries or other types of videos that are more lucrative for me. Whenever I feel like quitting or just changing something, like for example now, it's the middle of winter, I haven't had the busiest start of the year, it's been super chill, and I've been enjoying it, not gonna lie, but I'm kind of like, I should be getting like, a bunch of requests in right now, I'm only getting a few. I'm like, maybe I should go and like learn how to do TikTok e-com drop shipping. This is how my brain's working, guys. And then I just remind myself very quickly that yes, I'm interested in this and I'm excited in this. This could work. E-com, I could make something, I'm sure I could make a good business. But why take my business from like 0 to 1 when I can take the current business that I have right now from like a 2 to 4? In terms of its development and its stage. And I've learned to just kind of accept that I'm in this for a long time. So I'm not going to measure myself right now with the current present situation, but say, what does it look like if I keep doing this thing that I'm doing a year from now? What does my life look like a year from now? What does my life look like 3.5 years from now in this business? And the reason why I can ask this question is because I really enjoy what I do. I love making videos and I love the business that I run. So that's obviously the baseline and foundation of my business. If by any means you guys fucking hate what you're doing, then I can ask you to ask the same question, but maybe consider pivoting what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. But oftentimes when I'm trying to find something else to do, trying to find that next shiny object, it's because I'm really avoiding the hard thing that I need to do right now in my business. Or it doesn't even have to be hard, it can be like boring, like the boring thing that I need to do in my business right now, which would funnily enough, actually get me a lot closer to my goal. I'm avoiding it completely. Yeah, it's really funny, like that my brain would be like, and I think it's very common for business owners and for anyone who's been doing something for a while to be like, this person's paying me 10 to 15K to make some videos, which I could do in my sleep, which is the situation where it is right now for me. Yet I want to go off and start like a completely different venture and ask and somehow justify my skills and my value in a different marketplace or in a different, like, to a different customer. And yeah, it's kind of absurd when I say it on reflection right now, but this is really how, I'm thinking every day. It's like, whoa, like, what if I just like did this? And what if I just fucking, what if I just learn ecom? And as if you just learn ecom in like a month or two and get really proficient and get to the level that I'm at now with video. So yeah, this is of course completely selfish. This whole podcast that I'm talking right now, it's like all about my problems, but at the end of the day, that is what I'm doing on this video, on this podcast, is to just share what I'm going through and how I'm building my business right now, so that maybe other business people who are building their businesses or freelancers or creatives can just create their stuff along with me and just be like, yeah, going through the shit together. So another point, the thing that I was always afraid of was that my efforts weren't compounding, especially when I was younger, when I was like 18. Like I had read or 19, I'd read like Naval Ravikant's like book on how you should be making media or code and have high leverage opportunities. And yes, I completely agree. I think code, media, and putting out and creating content is one of the highest leverage things that you can do. You can ask and affect lots of people. You can ask a lot of money for that. However, what I realized was that during the business entrepreneurship process, one is acquiring so many soft skills and so many experiences that are compounding to lead to more informed decisions right now. What do I mean by that? I mean, I used to make perhaps weird decisions when it came to budgeting. Still do. I'm learning more, But at the start, I wouldn't even like factor in, for example, like equipment for my videos. And now I'm like, okay, now I can charge as much as necessary, if not more, and get a lot of money in from charging for my equipment. That's such a simple thing that perhaps you don't sort of think about when you're starting out. And so then you can take that even further and be like, wait, how do I now buy equipment to have an asset so that I can charge that every shoot because I use it on every shoot and therefore I can get more income and therefore this blah, 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 blah. My point is that I was really afraid at the start to be like not having or seeing compounding effects from my efforts, because it's very clear when you create content that you put out a video and then your next video and your next video and your next video, and like a few months down the line, you're getting like, 5K views a month just without doing anything. Like, this is really awesome. However, I was always, like I said, afraid of this not happening. But I feel like it does happen, but it just happens in a different way. It happens through the way that I think. It happens through the way that I approach something. It happens and through the way that I speak to someone on a discovery call. I've learned like new things. Why is this important? So it's nice when things are compounding, because after you shoot a video, or after I shoot a video, hopefully I've done a pretty good job, the client or whoever I'm working with will just be like, hey, yeah, we did this project with Nikko, and refer me to other people. And you just create this sort of snowball effect. And this is why it's super lovely to just have and spend time in the game, so that you just get referrals and build trust within that community or within that space, because then people are just going to refer you to other people, and it's going to be much easier to essentially attract new clients, new talent, and these types of people, because they feel like they can trust you. You've been in the game for a while, and they say, it's so much more powerful when John and Steve and Tracy, they're like, yeah, Nikko's a cool guy, you should work with him, rather than being like just John, who's like, yeah, I worked with Nikko once, he's good. More people equals essentially more trust when it comes to these testimonial type things, and it's very powerful to have word of mouth from other people and nice things being said about you, if you're not a douche. So something I figured that I learned over the past few years was that if something's like not working, I just need to pivot and just not stop entirely. So what do I mean by this? Oftentimes I would shoot a project and the budget would be crap, and then I'd be like, like I don't want to ever do yoga videos ever again. When really all I needed to do was, I just don't need to target this type of yoga, I don't know, studio or something. I just need to pivot and target this type and try that, rather than stopping it entirely. And so that is something I did a lot at the start. I was just like, I would just complain and just like ignore the fact that I had made a poor decision, choosing a client that is essentially not having an amazing amount of cash flowing through their business and then expecting them to pay me more. So it's just like, duh. But yeah, pivoting and not stopping has really been the thing that's helped me over the past few years, and is what I continue to do this day. I wish I could tell my younger self to just quit, but instead to just pivot and figure things out. Point number 5, when I'm getting shiny object syndrome, I like to remind myself that niches keep giving and giving and giving. The deeper you go, the longer you stay, the more time you try to figure them out. Again, this kind of brushes over my point earlier in the video, which is that the more time you spend in the game, the more value you can add. I don't need to go into it too much more, but you can just figure out and stack your skills or learn new skills in your niche to provide more value for the problems that you're solving, which ultimately allows you to charge more. Because I think it's in the Alex Hormozy book, his $100 million offers book, where he says, like, he gives an example, I might be butchering this, but he's like, imagine charging, like, saying you're a gardener. This isn't his example, but it's the same sort of shit, okay? You're a gardener, and then that's just very general. And then you can charge like, I don't know, 50 euros an hour for that. And then if you're a gardener who specializes in hedge trimmings, then you can charge 100 euros for that because you're becoming more specialized. And now you're a gardener that specializes in hedge trimmings, with electric tools, and also, I don't know, a specific type of hedge, like an evergreen hedge, and then you can charge more for that because you're essentially specialized so much that you understand the problem, and can deal and provide more value in that niche than just a regular gardener could, and therefore you can solve the problem and actually deliver a service that is more nuanced and more valuable to the client, because of your understanding and depth and skills and expertise. So it is just like that with me with the videos right now. It's like, okay, so I can make videos and produce videos and shoot them, but I do that within the fashion and lifestyle niche. And actually, I would say even further, I'm doing that more within fashion niches, which are on a, how do you say it? I'm doing shoes within fashion right now. I've just done a bunch of shoe stuff. Like, I know so much, it's so stupid, about like how to make shoes look good and how to keep them clean, and making sure like that we have wipes on the set so that we can clean them, and making sure that we have stuff to, I don't know, certain lenses that essentially make a shoe look really good, but without distorting them too much. But then, yeah, there's just tons of stupid shit that comes with that. That is like, I laugh at, but it's actually more valuable to someone who's like wanting to make their shoe look amazing. So, yeah, I'm going off on a tangent, but this is all I'm suggesting with staying in the niche and in the pocket. My final point is, whenever I think of, oh, my life would be a lot easier if I just did this thing. For example, if I just did e-commerce TikTok content or organic TikTok stuff, my life would be much easier. The answer is perhaps, yes, it might, but only to a certain point. And I often try to remind myself that no other industry, if I jump or change or move to, is going to be necessarily easier. Maybe that's just a narrative I have that I need to unlearn. But maybe my skills would be more suited towards it, which is a good reason to pivot and try these things. I'm not saying like don't try other shit, but it's more just like, yeah, things won't necessarily be easier. It's just going to have a different set of problems, and a different sort of, yeah. Once I reach a certain amount of income, perhaps maybe I could do TikTok stuff and get it to, I don't know, like 500,000. And yeah, but by the time I get there, I'm still going to need to hire people. I'm still going to need to learn how to do a bunch of new shit that I don't know how to do right now, with like customer relations. I don't know if you can call that. That's how little I know about it. But like looking after customers and like all of that kind of shit. And I think it's just a bit of a myth to think that the grass is greener on the other side. I think the grass is greener where you water it. And essentially that has always led me to realizing that actually just doubling down and fixing the problems I have in front of me is like the best thing. And the next step will reveal itself after that. I think I can get really caught up in just being like, oh, like, I don't see where this is going. Like, because I don't see myself in 5 years' time just making videos still. Like, I see myself evolved and doing a lot of things location independent. I see myself where my time is a lot more independent. I see myself where I'm still being creative, but not having to be so much like in person maybe somewhere. I just need to take that next step to reveal that next step. And I think I just need to deal with the things that are in front of me. And this is often the case where I found like if I'm excited about something and it feels right and I take that next step and it's aligned with where I am right now, it's often leading to great returns, whether that be financially, whether that be my network expanding, whether that making my life easier. Yeah. Either way, guys, have a lovely day. Take it easy. I hope my thoughts and my ranting has been of some use to you. I'm trying to be as vulnerable and as human as possible because I think there's so many videos out there which are like hyper edited and like cut, and it all looks like the same shit. They all use the same fonts. They all use the same fucking like hooks and shit, these frameworks. At the end of the day, I'm here for the people. I'm here for you guys. I'm just here to talk and have a shared experience with you. So take it easy, guys. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.